So Donald Trump just said he hopes the stock market crashes in the next 12 months.
We have an economy that's incredible. We have an economy that's so fragile. And the only reason it's running now is it's running off the fumes of what we did, what the Trump administration. It's just running off the fumes. And when there's a crash, I hope it's going to be during this next 12 months, because I don't want to be Herbert Hoover.
The stock market is not owned by Wall Street hedge fund fat cats. The stock market, who owns the stock market? Pension funds, insurance companies, 401ks, firefighters, teachers, nurses, who are checking their 401ks every night to figure out, can I retire in the next 5 years? But Donald Trump wants the market to crash, so the average American blames the current president. What does that say about A, Trump, and B, the American people, that we might fall for that?
Trump has always looked at the stock market like it says, well, you know.
He referred to my hands. If they're small, something else must be small. I guarantee you there's no problem. I guarantee.
Always growing, and all because of him. Trump even said that Biden's market success, Biden doubled the market from Trump's 19,000 low. Well, he said it was because Americans thought Trump would be elected.
And you have some of the most brilliant people on Wall Street saying this. The stock market is only up because they think I'm going to win. And if we don't win, according to many people, including one of the greatest Wall Street prognosticators, Scott Bessent. Has anyone heard of him? One of the most brilliant guys on Wall Street. If I don't win, you will have a 1929 style depression.
Okay, now that Trump's the president-elect, what's happening to the market? This.
Global stock markets are in full sell-off mode today, with Wall Street's main indices plunging further down.
The Dow tanked today by 1,100 points, posting the first 10-day losing streak since 1974. And in the last 24 hours, over $1.5 trillion disappeared from the U.S. stock market. Why?
A couple of potential shocks that could easily knock it into recession. One, you got the trade war, and two, there's a real strong possibility, I think, that the market is just going to revolt if Trump tries to cut taxes by as much as he's pledging. And so if we have a riot in the Treasury market, that would be pretty nasty.
Look, Trump is an idiot. He has no idea how global markets work. And this nonsense that he's a great businessman? How many great businessmen do you know with 6 bankruptcies and 3 bankrupt casinos? It was so bad he couldn't get U.S. banks to lend him money. So guess where he went for cash?
Here's how Dodson remembers the conversation.
I said to Eric, who's funding all this growth? I think I said, so who is it, the Israelis or the Chinese? Because they are the ones that were really spending money. I remember very clearly what he said. He said, no, we don't need American banks. We have all the funding we need out of Russia.
That's a whole nother story. But right now, world markets are flipping out.
What is your take?
Every time the stock market crashes, Marcia, people always look for the proximate cause. What was the little thing that happened the day before that caused this kind of hissy fit in markets to break out?
You are now proposing tariffs against the United States' 3 biggest trading partners. Economists of all stripes say that ultimately consumers pay the price of tariffs.
I don't believe
Can
it.
you guarantee American families won't pay more?
I can't guarantee anything. I can't guarantee tomorrow. But I can say that if you look at just pre-COVID, we had the greatest economy in the history of our country.
You're an idiot! You see, Trump has sowed the seeds of his ignorance regarding macroeconomics, and the latest is even more insane. So let me ask you this. How confident are you that the bank where you keep your money actually has your money? Good question, right? Well, with all of the reduce the government bullshit, Trump's allies are discussing dismantling a Depression-era reform that was designed to prevent bank failures and maintain trust in the whole financial system. Trump's idiotic finance groupies want to shrink or even close the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, but none of this makes sense because guess what? The FDIC is working great. Why would you with it?
Able to play the regulators off of each other as they so often do in D.C.
Sheila, I assume you think this is a bad idea. Why would it be a bad idea? I understand why it could be a bad idea to eliminate the FDIC, but why would it be such a bad idea to fold it into the Treasury Department or within some other agency?
Yeah, so I guess why is that a good idea? The FDIC's got a perfect record of protecting insured deposits, been doing it for 90 years. been a stabilizing force. During the great financial crisis, when I was chair some 14 years ago, deposits were coming into banks because people had a lot of confidence in the FDIC. So it's not broke. Don't fix it. I'm a former Treasury official, too. I love Treasury. I was Assistant Secretary for Financial Institutions with oversight of bank policy during the W. Bush administration. So I have some perspective on this for both agencies. And, first of all, I don't think Treasury wants it, at least not the current administration. But also, it's not. FDIC insurance is backed by bank premiums. It's not taxpayer dollars, which is what the finance piece that Treasury deals with. They don't have expertise in resolving failed banks. And then the brand. I mean, why create that confusion? People know the FDIC brand. You go into the bank, you see it there. It's comforting. It's reassuring. Why change the brand? Why shift it to another entity that's guaranteeing those deposits when it has been working very well? So, no, I think it's and it wouldn't happen anyway. It'd just be a waste of time. Congress isn't going to do that. I would be very surprised if Congress approved legislation to do that.
Okay, you following this? Trump's barrel of monkeys don't understand that the FDIC is being run not by taxpayer dollars, but by private. It gives people confidence. And when people lose confidence, well, they make a run on banks to pull all their money, which happened in 1929 and even in 2009. But Trump's looming idiocy has world markets rattled for a few reasons. Number one, while he threatens to fire Jerome Powell, the head of the Fed, who masterfully brought down inflation much quicker than other Western industrialized countries, the world is listening to Trump talk like a person who has no idea, and 6 bankruptcies.
Tariffs. To me, I think it's the most beautiful word in the dictionary. More beautiful than love. It will make our country extremely wealthy again, because right now we're poor, we're broke.
How do you balance and manage tariffs? The average person is not affected by it. Please.
Just by the mere mention of the fact that I am going to put 100 to 200% tariffs on every car.
By the way, what happens what does happen when you put tariffs on goods and you stop immigration and force migrants to leave in terms of wages?
Unless you're Hamilton, I'm kind of against it.
Isn't that going to be inflationary?
Of course. Of course.
Is it a one-time, though, and then you sort of
I don't know. I mean, when you see tariffs like that, obviously you think about 1929.
And then there's this. Every economist who's not in Trump's pocket playing with his ball sack says the proposed tariffs will cripple our economy for these pretty simple reasons. One, a 25% tariff on Chinese imports, for example, means the Chinese will charge Americans more so they don't pay the 25%. The tariff we pay goes right into the U.S. Treasury, the swamp, but that means we have less money in our pockets, which means we have less to buy American products, and even products from China, which affect other things like, parts and furniture, etc. So these companies are trying to sell American products who have 25% less money. So they have to lay people off. And inflation. That's called stagflation, and that's what Trump is proposing.
Even I say to myself, you're a frickin' genius.
Global stock markets are in full sell-off.
Add all of that to Trump's dough-tarded proposal to deport 12 million workers, inexpensive workers, and costs go up as the new replacement workers will charge a lot more. That means, wait for it, inflation. This is why the market is in trouble. Trump's proposals aren't about business or the overall economic environment. It's about revenge. Reducing taxes for corporations to the tune of trillions means that the government will run less efficiently, and it will place the burden on people who pay more taxes to make up the difference. Remember the trickle-down bullshit from the Reagan era? Bush 41 called it voodoo economics because that's what it was. They pitched it like this. If we give corporations tax breaks, they'll hire more people. But that's not what happens. They take the tax breaks and give their CEOs raises and their stockholders dividends. And here's the part you need to remember. The only time a company hires more workers is when they cannot meet the demand. But the only time demand goes up is when people have disposable income, which is what they would have if tax breaks were for the middle class. But Trump's not listening to middle class lobbyists, because they don't exist. He's listening to these backstabbing jizz monkeys, Musk, Bezos, Tim Cook, Zuckerberg, and more. They're cooking the books and aligning themselves for the recession that Trump is already creating. And if these Trumpy incels are allowed to remove the safeguards for American workers and investors, well then take your hands and cover your ass, because that's where they're taking aim.
Damn right.
I'm as mad as hell. This is not a normal election.
Whether the women like it or not.
Suck my fat one. This isn't their Republican Party anymore.
And this guy's personal life is a total disaster.
Trust me.
Shut the f*** up, Dan.
Who's with me? Oh, yeah, the lie.
Indictable.
Out of sheer morbid curiosity, I'm allowing this freak show to continue.
I don't want to talk about this stuff.
Am I wrong?
Yes.
Tick-tock.
You're in a lot of trouble, Donnie.
I think he's crazy.
I'm Chip Franklin.